Welcome to a story that may feel simple at first, but carries a powerful message hidden beneath its surface. This is not just a story you read, it is a story you experience, slowly uncovering a truth that many people search for their entire lives. As you move through each paragraph, you may begin to see something familiar, something that reflects real life in a quiet but meaningful way. Imagine a world where everything seems to move forward, yet something invisible holds everything back. A place where doors exist, but not all of them can be opened at the same time. Some doors look easy, some look impossible, and some remain completely hidden until the right moment arrives. The question is, what decides when a door can be opened? And more importantly, what happens if someone tries to force it open too soon? At the edge of a vast and ever-changing land stood a long path made of smooth stone, stretching farther than the eye could see. Along this path were countless doors, each different in size, color, and design. Some doors were bright and welcoming, while others were dark and silent, giving no clue about what lay behind them. The path itself never ended, but the doors appeared only when the time was right, as if the land itself was alive and aware. Every door had a unique lock, and beside each lock was a symbol instead of a keyhole. Some symbols looked simple, like a circle or a line, while others were complex and difficult to understand. The strange part was that no physical key could open these doors. Instead, each door responded to something unseen, something that could not be held or touched, but only understood through experience and patience. At first, the doors seemed random, appearing and disappearing without warning. But over time, a pattern began to form. The doors that appeared early on were easy to unlock, requiring only a small understanding of the symbols. They opened quickly and revealed small, simple spaces behind them. These spaces were not very exciting, but they were important, as they slowly prepared the mind for what lay ahead. As the path continued, the doors became larger and more complex. Their symbols were no longer easy to recognize, and many of them remained closed no matter how hard they were studied. Some doors would not even respond at all, as if they were waiting for something more than just attention. This created a quiet tension in the air, a feeling that something important was being missed. There were moments when it seemed possible to rush forward, to skip the smaller doors, and try to unlock the larger ones immediately. The bigger doors looked more interesting, more rewarding, and more important. But whenever this happened, the result was always the same. The door remained closed, silent and unmoved, as if it could sense that the time was not yet right. The path itself offered no guidance, no instructions, and no shortcuts. It simply existed, stretching forward with its endless series of doors. The only way to move ahead was to continue walking, observing, and learning from each step. There was no way to go backward, and no way to pause time. Everything moved forward, slowly but steadily. Sometimes, a door that once seemed impossible would suddenly open without effort. The symbol that once looked confusing would now appear clear and simple, as if it had always been understood. This strange transformation did not happen because the door had changed, but because something within had changed instead. The understanding had grown, even without realizing it. There were also times when doors disappeared completely. A door that had been ignored or avoided for too long would simply vanish, leaving no trace behind. This created a sense of loss, a quiet realization that some opportunities do not wait forever. Once gone, they could not be brought back, no matter how much they were wanted. As the journey, it became clear that the doors were not obstacles, but lessons. Each one represented a moment of growth, a chance to understand something new. The smaller doors built the foundation, while the larger doors tested that foundation. Without the smaller ones, the larger ones could not be opened, no matter how strong the desire was. The most surprising discovery came when it became clear that forcing a door never worked. No amount of effort, pressure, or frustration could unlock a door before its time. In fact, trying to force it only made the process slower, creating confusion instead of clarity. The doors required a different approach, one that was calm, patient, and steady. Over time, the symbols on the doors began to feel familiar. They were no longer strange or confusing, but meaningful and connected. Each symbol told a story, not of the door itself, but of the journey leading up to it. The symbols were not instructions. They were reflections of understanding. The path never promised an end, and the final destination was never revealed. But something unexpected happened along the way. The need to reach the end slowly disappeared. The focus shifted from reaching somewhere to understanding something. The journey itself became the purpose, and the doors became guides rather than barriers. There was a quiet moment when everything became clear. Not all at once, but gradually, like a light slowly growing brighter. The lesson was simple, yet deeply powerful. Not everything can be rushed, and not everything can be controlled. Some things can only be understood when the time is right, and no sooner. The doors were never meant to stop progress. They were meant to shape it. Each delay, each challenge, and each moment of confusion was part of a larger design. A design that could not be seen from the beginning, but became clearer with every step forward. In the end, the greatest realization was this: the path was not testing strength, speed, or intelligence. It was teaching patience. It was teaching trust in the process, even when the outcome was unclear. It was showing that growth happens quietly, often without notice, until one day everything makes sense. And so, the path continues, with its endless doors and silent lessons. Some doors will open easily, while others will take time. But each one will arrive at the right moment, not before and not after. The only thing required is to keep moving forward, with patience and understanding. Because the life lesson everyone must learn is not about reaching the end quickly, but about becoming ready when the door finally opens.